The Undertaker became the most respected person backstage for various reasons, including his presence and charisma.
It's not just his persona, it's his presence.
Took me a while. You might make it in this business, kid.
Undertaker was even more respected as a leader than the boss of WWE, Vince McMahon, because The Undertaker was very clear about his opinions, even with his boss. For example, after Vince screwed Bret Hart out of his title in Montreal, The Undertaker had an understanding for both sides, but was angry they went behind Bret's back. He demanded that Vince personally apologize to Bret Hart in his dressing room, an order that put Vince in a difficult position. In an enormously tense situation, Vince entered the dressing room and approached Bret. Bret punched him in the face. The following year at WrestleMania 14, the air was thick backstage. Shawn Michaels, then WWE champion, was supposed to lose his title to Stone Cold and retire due to his back problems. HBK didn't want to retire and made a scene. The dead man sensed trouble. Michaels was known for his unprofessional behavior. He got ready for a brawl with the headstrong champion, but it didn't come to that. In fact, Shawn Michaels stuck to the plan. This was not a given. Time and again, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels clashed. Despite these differences back then, they are friends today and look back on their legendary battles against each other.
Even when I didn't care for him as a human being, there was not many people that I had rather work with.
When asked about his favorite match in interviews, Mark Calloway's answer is completely clear.
It had to be WrestleMania 25 with Shawn. I mean, that was as close to perfect that I'd ever been involved in.
Conflicts are normal in wrestling, but it's just as normal for them to be buried again. The Undertaker buried them literally.
It's like a convention of old-timers.
His beef with Big Show also didn't last long. When Big Show came to WWE, he made some rookie mistakes in the ring. Taker was angry and criticized Big Show harshly after the match. Meanwhile, many years later, the two get along very well.
Taker wasn't afraid to tell you how to do it and then go out there and prove you how to do it. A lot of guys talk a lot of shit about how to do stuff and how to be good. Taker backed it up every night.
Behind the curtain, no one spoke more words of power than The Undertaker. This gave rise to the so-called Wrestler's Court. The Undertaker was the judge, and therefore also the one who handed out the punishments. Most of the time, the defendants had to buy him alcohol, or give colleagues gifts. However, there were also unpleasant judgments. Melina, for example, was harshly sentenced for her arrogance. What exactly the punishment was is unknown, but she is said to have burst into tears. The Undertaker kept the chaotic backstage roster in check, was a mentor and leader, advocate and judge at the same time. Brock Lesnar knows all about it. Taker supported him as a big, fresh talent. The two had a mentor-student relationship. However, when Lesnar then left WWE and stabbed Vince McMahon in the back, Undertaker was angry. A fierce conflict started between the two, one that lasted for years and even flashed briefly in public. At a UFC fight, Mark Calloway was in the audience when the following happened.
It's almost like you're at a loss for words here.
You want to do it?
There was Brock Lesnar right there. What did you just say to him?
It's kind of a personal thing. I think maybe he needs to, I think he needs to train a little harder.
Are you guys cool?
Personal.
After the incident, The Undertaker apologized to UFC boss Dana White. He did not want to divert attention from the UFC and put himself and Lesnar in the spotlight. White accepted the apology. It was difficult for The Undertaker to understand why Lesnar left. After all the chances he had been given, Calloway himself never left WWE,